Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about why many millennials are struggling with depression and other psychological situation. And if you're a millennial, you're uh, probably one of these people, or probably have heard a lot of things about it. Maybe your friends, your relatives, and so recently I've watched this video that talks about Japan and how their new generation of um, young people are sort of struggling with society and how they gonna pursue their lives or things like that. And yeah, the video talks about social withdrawal and these people kind of disconnecting themselves from society and things like that. And for years and on, they suffer from depression and many other psychological stuff. So yeah, we talk about that. Let's talk about that. Okay, so normally where does this stem from? I mean, I think it starts from how you were thought by your parents or whoever is your guardian that tells you how you're gonna start your life and how you're gonna do it. So if your parents is someone that kind of pushes you to become someone, like maybe a doctor, an architect, what have you, perhaps it's something that runs in the family that they want you to follow the same step, and they kind of sort of some sort of push their children to become what they really want. And so basically their children has become an extension of their ambition in life. And the environment and other people really has an impact to it. Maybe your friends, your family, and some of them are already successful in life at the age of this and that. And so the biggest impact, I think, has something to do with it is tradition. So if it is given that in your country, how it works is you know I mean you go to grade school, you finish high school at this age, then you go to college, get a degree, and right after that get a job. Perhaps get better at your job and keep on working until you get what you want. Then eat, work, sleep, repeat. Then you just do that same thing maybe for the rest of your life. So that is tradition. And people tend to follow the tradition that a particular country has established for many years, and it becomes more severe when it's something that runs in a family. So what happens is some of these people, try to follow the tradition because that's what they were thought that's how they're gonna achieve their goals in life, and perhaps one day become successful. So the thing is, if a particular degree or a path in life is followed by your parents or any people that you like, it doesn't necessarily mean that is something that you really want. It's just that it's something that worked out their way, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to follow the same exact steps. So tendency is maybe in our younger generation, they try to follow the same path of tradition. And then they end up in a point in their life that they ask themselves, is this something that I really want? Then they get to realize that is not something that they want. And they kind of struggle with the idea that I can't switch on another things that I want simply because this is what they want from me, and maybe this is what society wants from me. So at that point, you know, they kind of struggle with existence, and they start to ask, do I really need to do this? Do I have to do this? Can I pursue what I want, or no? Why is that some people are able to do this? Why can I do this? And eventually it leads to depression, and it takes a toll on them, and some people don't really survive the situation. Where it leads, because when you succumb to depression and you start to trying to tackle it every day, then it gets to a point that it's too much and you can handle it yourself. And some people takes it to another level of isolating themselves, just they think that that's the best option, because they're not really bugging other people with their problems, and they don't get to talk about themselves, like explain themselves to people who may not really understand them in some sense. So that's what really happens to those people. It becomes a social withdrawal, and they think that maybe it's better this way. So what can someone do about it? I think it has something to do with how we perceive the tradition. Tradition is a good thing in some sense. It has its advantages. It also have its disadvantages, because traditions sort of it helped people for many years become something that they are, become successful and all, but it doesn't really apply to everyone. So if you kind of follow the same exact steps, you might end up the same way, or perhaps if it's not really for you, you become a failure. And a lot of people fear the idea of failing in life, because you've kind of pursued this dream for maybe half of your lifetime, and just end up in a failed way. So that's the disadvantage of tradition. It could be a good thing that it made some people before us successful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will apply to you. Another disadvantage of tradition is it prevents change from happening. Because your ancestors kind of say that, hey, this is how it works, this is how it should be, you should do this way. And you don't get the idea that you can actually do it this way compared to that way, because of the fact that your elders told you that it should be done this way. So it kind of prevents change, and if people try to follow that same pattern, it could end up in different ways for different people. So I think it's very important that we understand how to follow tradition, if it's gonna be good for us or no. And also, I think it has really have a big impact on how parents look at their children. Their children is not an extension of their ambition. It should never be. They should have the freedom to choose what they want in life, what they want to pursue. A parent can't tell their children what they're supposed to do, because that's when they feel locked up in a pattern in life that they don't really want. So I think it's the thing that's happening in the new generation, because maybe this things is something that was taught to your parents by their parents, and they're trying to pass down the same thing to us. So it is not something that we can change overnight, but I think it's very important that people has an open mind, particularly being a parent. And change starts from there. And simply because, I mean, change is the only constant in life, and the only constant thing in life. So tradition should never like put a pause on that.